People deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning. Now it's finally time to talk about our under 23s. Now, of recent, it ain't been going too good for us. I believe we're 10th, we're just above the relegation zone. Mathematically, relegation's a possibility. Yeah, man. Liverpool's under 23s defeated our under 23s or their counterparts at this level 4-0. Now, it's a bit of a harsh one because I feel we deserve to lose 4-0 when you make certain mistakes. And I think it's a good learning curve for these young players. But at the same time, I don't feel we did, man. I don't feel we played that bad. Obviously, you lost 4-0. There's a lot of things you did poor. We were sloppy. At least 3 of them goals were self-inflicted mistakes. Like Ryan Alabos, who's had a decent period at under 23s and as a player I like, got caught playing out from the back for the first goal. Both keepers could have done better for a couple of those. We're going to get over it. Nobody could have done a lot. But considering we had no Balogun, considering, we've got young Mon Louise, who's a first-year scholar, and Alex Kirk in there, who's not too much older, we done all right. And it's a tough lesson. And I think we held in, people, really and truly. I think we held it up, I think Liverpool were good. I'm not saying they don't deserve it because there was levels in it. They're physically stronger than us. They were more aggressive in their press than us. There's levels in it, but I wouldn't say I'm proud because we lost 4-0, but I think we did all right, man. I don't think we deserve that, really. I don't think it's a game to really blast our players because they don't deserve it, people. It looked like we was in a 4-1 formation as well for what it's worth, people, as well. Clearly not because we don't know what's going on there. But clearly with a lot of that is to try and, mitigate against the threat that Liverpool have. As you lot know, Leighton Stewart, Kane, they're playing Ben Woodburn, who got an assist. They've got a decent amount of players. I think we did well initially. We were holding on. The majority of the play was in our half, but we was playing out from the back fairly decent considering there's no space and we're being pressed. I think Alex Kirk and Tom Smith initially in goal were doing all right in that regards. I think we remained penned in, people. Liverpool's press was aggressive and we was beating it. We was being confident. There were times it was a bit nervy even before, Alabusu was caught, but we was doing all right. That one was self-inflicted as well because he's initially done very well to read the game, hold on to it. He's tried to be probably too clever. He could have went back to his goalie. He's faked it. He's tried to go down the right-hand side. He's got caught in possession, played a somewhat square pass, and they're not going to score easier. Leighton Stewart, he's given that goal, really. There was a couple half chances, but you've handed it to them, and he's playing all right. We're playing all right. If it wasn't going to be Ryan, it was going to be someone because that press is very aggressive from them. We're struggling with no outball, in my opinion. We ain't, Mola is struggling by himself and is quite anonymous. I did expect a bit more from Reece Nelson, but we're not trying to find him over there on the left-hand side. I think Kiddo Taylor-Hart's probably the only one that's looking like one, but we've got no one to sort of hold the ball up, no sort of breather, people. Like I said, within the first 20 minutes, we're still doing all right, but we've got no one to hold it up and give the team a breather and get them further up the field. And I'm looking at Nelson to do that, but we're not getting it to him. I'm getting nervous when we're playing at the back from at this point because now we're starting to get caught. We're starting to overdo it. We're starting to hold on to the ball for too long. And it's down to game management from our boys. 2-0 as well. We're doing all right. Don't get it twisted. We're not really cutting them open, and it was a bit frustrating seeing our set pieces because we're never going to beat them in the air, but we did try to put moves together. We did have opportunities. We did get into their own half. It was a closer game than that 4-0 describes it as. But game management is a big part, people, because just before halftime, if you get yourself in at 1-0, there's something you can do. To concede another one before halftime, shortly before, is a bitter pill to swallow, people. Game management, again, I think is poor from our goalie, Smith, and I think it's poor from our centre half. Clear our lines. Kirk's having a good game. Kirk had a good game for me, and has been doing well, deserves his pro deal, but we're inventing our problems at this point now, and you could see it coming. 3-0 again, second half, I believe it was, I can't even remember, but they, shortly after scoring their second, they get their third. Equally as a cheap goal to concede, people. I think that one might have even been Mon Louise. This was Kirk. Apologies, people. We concede very early, and again, Kirk's caught. In fact, this might have just been Kirk for 2 of them. Liverpool won it back and scored within 3 passes, and I think the keepers also played a part in that as well. I think Arthur Okonkwo and Tom Smith, both keepers that played either half, I think they played well, but they could have equally done better. To make it 4-0 is another error. So like I said at the start, at least 3 of those goals were self-inflicted, in my opinion. I do think it was closer than it was, but what can I say? Again, this is a learning curve because, I don't think Woodburn should be playing at this level for Liverpool. Woodburn, Kane, Stewart, there's a couple of the majority of those players. I don't see what they're going to learn at 23's level personally. What's the other guy's name as well for Liverpool? The centre half. I can't imagine, surely Pep Klopp's been keeping tabs on him, people. Before I get into my ending thoughts, Kumato, I can't say his name, but I think all the team played well, but I think these 4 in particular, people, the ones I would praise if I had to. Our 4-1-4-1 formation didn't work. We went with a 4, then Akinola, then obviously Muller and a 4. I don't think it worked because we couldn't get Ben Cottrell, Nelson, or anybody of influence into the game. Like I said, we did try as hard as we could to offer some sort of fight. There's just a massive gulf, I think, between the 2 teams, tactically, physically, and mentally. That leaves us 10th, now just above the drop zone. So again, stuff's getting real. Relegation is a possibility at this level for these players. Let's hope that isn't the case. In terms of ending thoughts, people, like I said, we struggle to cope with their press. We struggled to cope with their press generally. I mean, first 20, I think we did very well. First 20, 25, and then it went down the toilet. So again, that comes down to not concentrating and needing to concentrate. I wanted to see a bit more from everyone, but I think Ben Cottrell and Reece defo had it in them. I think they were a bit anonymous, especially Reece Nelson, considering you are a first team player. 3 of those 4 goals came as a result of us getting caught or just handing it to them. So at this level, you can't really afford to make errors like that. So it's a learning curve for these players. I did feel for the young Monlouise and Kirk, they held it up. And again, it was a sad to say, but it's a tough lesson for them, but they will come through it. And I'm proud of my boys. I do think it was closer than the 4-0 suggests, but at the end of the day, if you make the errors we made, you're going to be made to pay for it. So it is what it is, man. It really is what it is in that regards. Like I said, Liverpool 4, Arsenal's under 23's 0, and we move, people. I'm not too sure who we have in our next game, but I do know that is on Friday. I think it's Friday afternoon. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, people. I'm out. God bless. DG.